And so we are here once again to talk briefly about the conversation that needs to happen every 10 years. And today we have Stephanie Manieri, who is taking the time and coming over and talking with us about the districts in the county of Sonoma and how once the changes in population come up, we have to redistribute the districts or redraw the lines, I should say. And so, Stephanie, first, thank you for taking the time and being with us. And then can you educate us as to where we are in the process?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. Where we are in the process, I should start off by saying that this is the first time in Sonoma County's history that we have had a commission dedicated to the redistricting process. And so the Board of Supervisors put together this commission for this purpose, and the work started in the summer of this year of 2021. And since then, we have gone through a process of learning about redistricting because this is the first time that we've ever had a group dedicated to this work. There was a lot of learning that took place. Where we are now, the group has recommended one map to the Board of Supervisors to adopt for what it is that we think the redistricting or the lines should look like to be more representative of our communities. The Board of Supervisors on Tuesday, they discussed and had deliberation. They ultimately voted to move forward with the map recommended by the commission, but it is just a draft. And so they will make modifications according to a couple of upcoming hearings that they will hold that could ultimately change what our map recommends.
It's important for the community to understand that whatever decisions are made with this redistricting process, again, will affect us. Anything from police services, fire, schools, and really who's going to represent us and be our voice over the county. Sometimes there's millions of dollars coming in, and whomever advocates better gets the funding. And I think this is important. And again, a lot of us are like so disconnected, and we fail to understand that our children get affected by this. And as an example of this, prior to Roseland becoming part of the city of Santa Rosa, which was a long, long process. All of the streets over in Roseland were, horrible. They're not better yet. They're getting better, but they're not there. But the reality is the county basically and the representatives had completely ignored the community of Roseland. But if you go to Fountain Grove, if you go to other places in the area, which are county property, you wouldn't have that, right? So it's about having the right representation. And so if people are not getting it as to what it is, that's what it is, right? Over there in the Sonoma area, the city of Sonoma, that's Highway 12, those areas, suddenly there was some funding and it went that way, but Roseland still wasn't getting anything. And so it's about representation. And you were one of the individuals again working in collaboration with other individuals to create this new map. Do you feel that there was equitable representation for all interested parties, not just the Latinx community, not just the poor, not just the people of Roseland, but our brothers, sisters, non-gender conforming individuals who are of African descent and Native descent, indigenous peoples of the land that was stolen, on which we sit today? Was there equitable representation?
That is a really great question. And I actually wish that I had some data to back up the answer. I think that the Board of Supervisors in general, I wouldn't say that it was perfect equitable representation, but I think that they at the very least did their due diligence in trying to find folks to build an equitable committee. I think that we still have a long way to go in understanding what equity means. Like you said, that equity encompasses all, and not just some. right? So I think that we're moving in that direction, but yeah, it could have probably been a little bit more equitable.
Definitely. And so I think that we all have the right. And again, this is why meetings are taking place. Some meetings have been taking place for a while now, but this is why there's a few more meetings left, because that will give individuals the right to be able to say, hey, my voice hasn't been represented in this process, and this is what I need. What are the next steps at this moment? Because you were telling me earlier that December 15th, by that date, the county has to have approved this process. What are the next steps? Are there any other meetings coming up that people should be aware of?
Yes. So the Board of Supervisors today released some information for upcoming opportunities to get involved and for community members to voice their opinions and their own recommendations. So the first meeting will be on Monday, November 22nd, next Monday at 5 p.m. And this is language pulled directly out of the press release, but county staff is looking to seek input from areas surrounding Roner Park and the Roner Park community. Right now, that is a big hot topic in the redistricting process and conversation because Roner Park would be moving out of the current 3rd district and into the 5th district. And so the Board of Supervisors want to have an opportunity to hear more from the community. The second meeting will be on November 29th at 11 a.m., and that will also be open to the public.
And again, for people who may want to get more information or they want to go check out the maps, all you have to do is look up the words redistricting Sonoma County, and the first couple of answers that showed up in my browser here were exactly what we're talking about. 2021 redistricting, how can you help shape Sonoma County's future? It gives you the draft maps. It allows you to play around with the map and draw your own map, the calendar of events, updates, and much, much more. And so we invite the community to, again, participate. This, whatever decisions are made, are going to affect the next 10 years of our lives or children's lives as well. And so, especially for people in the 5th district, if I am correct, that is the area of Petaluma. And if I am mistaken, the area of Petaluma is about to vote for sure for a new representative in the upcoming year. And therefore, whomever ends up in that district has a lot of say. And this is the time that you start that discussion. Who do I want to represent me? As I mentioned earlier, 20 years ago, the Latinx community didn't have a voice in this process, or African American community, or Native American communities, and others didn't have a voice. So we're moving there, but we also have to raise our hands and say, hey, here I am, see me, recognize me, hear me. And so the community, this is the steps that we need to take. And so again, if you're comfortable with the web, just put redistricting Sonoma County, and it will guide you to the website of the County of Sonoma that has all this information. Is there anything else that you would like to share before we end this conversation?
Yes. So, like I mentioned earlier, there's a big conversation, and the Board of Supervisors are definitely wanting to carry on this conversation about what happens with the community of Roner Park. And I would just like to really make it clear that, that there are communities that are very heavily impacted, significantly and disproportionately impacted by a process like redistricting. And so, the communities that I'm really looking at and advocating for are the communities that I know, the communities of Roseland and South Park and Moreland. I think that there is a concern that, the Board of Supervisors are prioritizing some voices over others. And so I would just like to encourage anyone who's listening or watching this to really do their own research and try to understand the importance of redistricting, and especially if you live in Southwest Santa Rosa to get involved, because this could really, like you said, have impacts that will last 10 years at the very least. And we don't know what will happen after that. And so I just want to say that, this is a really big equity issue. And I don't know how many folks really understand that this is an equity issue. But there could be really, really adverse consequences to not getting involved and speaking up in the next couple of public hearing opportunities.
Definitely. And with that, again, I want to thank you for taking the time, being with us here in Líderes del Futuro on KBBF 89.1 FM and on the web at kbbf.org. I look forward to our next conversation in the very near future. Thank you.
Thank you.